just one big story, isn't it?
Welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Well, everyone has a story to tell, and today my guest is here to tell the story of those who can't tell the story for themselves. They're victims of human trafficking. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So this is a subject that's, you know, it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, it hurts your heart.
So yeah, it really hurts your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you become involved in doing such a heroic thing that you're doing?
Well, I would say about 4 years ago, I didn't even know human trafficking existed. I didn't even really know what it meant. I'm an attorney and I was busy in my practice, and I was asked to do some pro bono work, which is free work for victims of human trafficking who needed T visas because they'd been transported into this country and had been trafficked and needed to be able to stay in the country. Because if they're not able to stay in the country, often they get transported right back out of the country and right back into the pipeline of human trafficking. So as I was doing that work with a colleague, we started to educate ourselves about what human trafficking really was and learned that it was actually going on in Sacramento. We were shocked. We couldn't believe it. Right here? Shocked. So we just couldn't, we had to do something more. And so we said, well, what can we do? What can we do? This problem is so big. And we said, okay, well, we know how to throw a good party. So let's start with that. Let's throw a party for all our colleagues and friends and educate them. Because if we as lawyers don't even know about this human trafficking problem, I bet there's a lot of other people out there that don't know that it's in Sacramento. And that started the ball rolling. We threw a big party, had a couple hundred people come, and then just started going out into the community, talking about it. And then we started our own organization, a nonprofit. It's called Strive to Free. And as we started to do this work, we started to see there was something missing in the area of supply and demand in this area. So victims, there's a lot of service providers that help victims of human trafficking. Not that victims don't need help. Obviously they do and they always will. But once you're a victim, the damage is done. And there's always going to be this endless supply of new victims, as well as what do we do about this demand? Those that are purchasing these services. That seemed even more daunting. So ultimately, we decided to start with the supply side, the future victims. And so we started going into the schools and doing awareness programs. Started in Oak Park and did a full 2 days there of presenting on the problem. We had an actual victim come and tell her story. We had a former pimp come and tell his story. We brought in music, we brought in entertainment, and it was really interactive for the kids. And the kids were riveted. So we knew we had, you know, something that would work. And so we're off and rolling. That's what we're doing, is our road show in schools.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Now, are you finding, what are the ages?
The average age of sex trafficking victim is 12 to 14.
Girls, boys?
Both.
Wow. Mostly
girls, but girls and boys.
Yeah.
And the vulnerable ones are the kids that come from low socioeconomic areas, kids that are in foster homes, group homes. Those are the kids that are really vulnerable. So we're focusing on those schools first and hopefully branch out. Ultimately, we'd love to do a curriculum in all schools and just have it be part of the kids' curriculum, so they have, maybe it's part of their health class or something, but that everybody learns about human trafficking.
So once these kids get roped into this kind of situation, isn't there a lot of fear factors that go on? You know, a lot of threats. I mean, they have to keep it to themselves. They can't really talk about it with anybody. What is that like for them?
Right. Well, imagine starting as a 12 or 14-year-old little girl that's needy in her heart, that she's missing something. And some pimp comes along and tells her he loves her, tries to fill that void, and really ropes her into it. In California, you are not able to give consent to, you know, to provide sexual services. So these kids are basically brainwashed, and that is the way they're kind of roped in by somebody that tells them they love them, they care for them, and pretty soon they're completely in the life. And the average life for a sex trafficking victim is about 7 years. If they don't get out before 7 years, they're usually killed.
Wow, how sad. Now, are they, by trafficking, do you mean that they are getting the victims here in California, or are they bringing the victims into California?
Well, it's both.
Okay.
So there actually are those victims who are kidnapped and brought into this country and transported across state lines, and they're moved all the time, and that's really big crime. But there's also, right here in Sacramento, I mean, I believe we're number 5 per the FBI in the nation for sex trafficking, because of all our roadways, you know, the I-5 and the 80 and the bordering of Canada and Mexico and the coast. So it's easy to transport victims. So this is a really hotbed area.
Wow. Plus we have the waterways.
Yes.
As well. Now, what are the penalties for trafficking?
Well, the penalties need to be stiffer, but it's a really hard thing to prove, because once they've brainwashed a girl into the life, it's hard to get a girl to leave the life and be able to sustain herself out of the life. So often they go back, they don't want to testify, they don't want to, you know, go into court against their pimp. So it's really, really difficult.
Yeah. So you were saying too that this exists in high school, that high school kids.
Well, as young as elementary.
Okay.
I mean, really. But we're working with the high schools right now.
Okay.
Ultimately, we'd love to go lower.
For the victims and for the pimps?
Yes. Yes.
So how does that work? Is there somebody above them that is getting them into the life as well?
Yeah, so actually they get into the life, and then they're often, you know, they're recruited to become their own pimp. And girls are pimps just as much as boys. So they start recruiting their own little kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs involved?
There can be. That can be a means of coercion.
Wow, this is really... So how many do you have in Strive to Free? How many members do you have now?
So there's just the 6 of us, and we're all lawyers, we're all colleagues. We all just volunteers. We all have full-time jobs and families, and this is just our heart work that we do on the side. This is what we do for love in our community. And so, yeah, we're one school at a time is how we're doing it, grassroots. We're totally funded by donations. None of us get paid, and we're just doing the work we love.
Wow. What kind of reception do you get by the faculty?
Well, this school that we did in Oak Park, they absolutely loved what we did, and they want us to come back and do follow-up work with the kids. So we're working on a follow-up program, but trying to go into the schools and not only just provide the awareness, but get them excited about continuing the awareness in their own schools, become leaders themselves.
Now, are foster parents, are they trained to look for these kind of signals? I know as a mother of 3 daughters, I certainly kept an eye on what kind of activities my kids were involved in, and you know how they felt about themselves, and you know, because you do know it's out there, and everybody, when they're feeling low about themselves, is a victim for something. So to be aware and whatnot, you know, as a mother, that was my job. What about foster parents? Do they have that?
I don't know. It's doubtful.
Yeah.
If I myself didn't even know about human trafficking only a few years ago, it's doubtful that the larger community knows as much about the problem.
So finding out more about it, share with everybody who's listening what to be aware of, what to look for, you know, how people can become involved.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Okay. So are there things that you can tell people that are watching the show today what they can do to be more aware or to participate or to bring more awareness to your journey?
Well, we have a website, and we provide educational information on our websites. We're going into the schools all the time and trying to teach the kids. We invite the parents to come as well, and we just hope that we spread the word. You know, it's a multifaceted problem.
Yeah. So once you do in your legal work, once you are aware that there's a victim that needs your legal help, how does the process work?
So I would get a referral for a woman that maybe needed a T visa because she needed to be able to stay in the country. She was a trafficking victim and had been saved or rescued out of the life. And then I would assist her in all throughout that process with immigration to try to get that visa for her. That's just one aspect of another part of this work that I do. Our main focus is trying to address the supply part. And once we feel like we've got enough of that accomplished, then we want to focus on the demand part, the purchasers of these services for the victims. And that's a whole nother huge problem to attack. But I would love to start a John school. That's my next step.
Yeah. Well, I imagine too, with the internet being such a superhighway for sexual addiction, that more and more, the demand is probably increasing.
It's just so prevalent. There's so much anonymity to it.
Yeah.
That it's beyond problematic. But something has to be done. Somebody has to do something and start somewhere.
Yeah. So the trafficking part of it, these aren't kids that are standing on street corners, or are they? Are they?
Oftentimes, yes, or on the internet. A lot of times they're on the internet. I've actually walked the streets of Sacramento and with groups and gone out and talked to girls and talked to pimps. And most of the time they're on their phones because they're getting calls via Craigslist or some other internet provider of services. And when they're not, they're expected to be out on the street.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, you need an army is what you need.
Yes.
To help you with this work. That's, do you have volunteers that, besides yourselves? Do you have to be in a legal position or?
No. And that's, that's the thing I want to impart to people is just because, I'm a lawyer doesn't mean you can't do something in your own community. Just do something. Whatever specific skills you have or gifts that you bring into this world, use them to do something good. That's all we're doing. We're not anybody important. We just saw this problem, and it was a human condition that touched our hearts and made us feel like we had to do something. So I don't know if we'll ever make a big impact or not, but at least we're doing something.
Yeah. Well, I certainly commend you for getting involved, trying to do something, and educating. Gosh, that's such an important thing to educate, kids in the schools and whatnot, parents. Yeah.
Thank you.
They may not even, know things exist. So what kind of, I did look at your website. There, you have a list of signs to look for victims. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? No?
I'm not recalling what you actually.
There was
the signs of what to look for a victim, for a parent, or what to look for.
Parent, yeah, for a parent or caregiver or whatever. Was I not looking at the right?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Strike to free. Okay, I thought there was a list on there of things that people could be aware of. What the symptoms were: depression and low dropping grades and different things like that.
Yeah, I would say that for a kid, it's the normal signs that you would see of a kid who is not present at home, isolated. A lot of kids run away when they get into this life because they don't usually do this life and they're still living at home. So many of them are runaways. Drugs can be a part of it. Violence can be a part of it. Yeah, a lot of the same signs that you would see with a kid that's really troubled.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you have a fundraiser coming up.
Yes.
Let's talk about that because that's a happy thing. The date?
The date is September 21st. It's our annual Denim and Sequins fundraiser. It's a big party. Like I said, we can put on a good party. So wear your denims and your sequin tops, or your denim tops and your sequin leggings, and come and have a good time. We have dinner and drinks and live music. It's going to be at Roxy's from 6 to 9. You can purchase tickets online at our website, www.strivetofree.org, or go to our Facebook page. And it's sure to be a fun night. And we're going to show a video of what we've been doing in the school so everybody can see exactly what we've been doing.
Well, speaking of videos, we have a clip to show. And so why don't we do that now?
Okay.
If you know how to do the Cupid shuffle and you got skills, get up here. That's one. That's two. That's three.
So I want to talk to you guys about the game, right? So the game produces what we know as child sex trafficking. So give me the next slide. So what is child sex trafficking? I want to define this. I like to define things, right? So this is when someone under the age of 18, so under the age of 18 is commercially sexually exploited through prostitution, pornography, or stripping, erotic entertainment. Anybody who's in that life, whether it's a pimp, whether it's a girl being exploited, they'll call it the game, they'll call it the life, right?
From my campaign, hip hop in the presence of me, right on my campaign. I guess I better cop a better pair of shades. So look at what I look at. One time, put your one hand up. Jig. They don't talk like rising. They no black ass, no white lies. Gloves off, just black hands. Pro-life liberal. Bob Fickler, they acting without reason. I terrorize your governing body, it's called treason. Message over no regard, fast marks in the guard. With something in the cipher. I only spit the word of God. Going on, how's that brother staying? Tell him that my life is a symbol of God's grace. Being in the age and bring up a big face.
But I wanted to start out by letting you know that a lot of times you can see somebody up on the microphone, you see them up here, a leader, they must have everything together. And I don't.
To the world for we burn up. I only know one way. Turn up, turn. Everybody in the place, let me hear you say turn. I'm actually getting ready to push this song on ESPN, so y'all getting to know this, getting some great information, and they start talking to you, point up your ears so you can catch what it is that we're trying to give to you. You have something inside of you, but you just need a perspective change. So here's my hope. My hope is that maybe you heard something from me, maybe you heard something from Shane, maybe you heard something from Israel, maybe you heard something from Leah. Maybe you hear something from whoever's coming after me to say, you know what? I need to start thinking about stuff a little bit differently, because maybe this stuff that I'm thinking about and doing ain't what I need to be doing. And I ain't here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to show you that if I can change, you can change too. And you can use the gifts and the talents that you've been given that maybe you use for the wrong reason, for now the right reason.
Very compelling. Very compelling. You've got your work cut out for you.
Thanks.
Wow. Well, this fundraiser, once you get your donations and stuff, where will the money go?
The money's going to go strictly into the work that we're doing in the schools.
Okay.
So 100% of it, because like I said, none of us get paid. This is 100% volunteer grassroots work that we're doing.
So do you have pamphlets? Do you do printouts, handouts?
We will hand out pamphlets, and we'll have our signs out and our stickers and all of that. But yeah, we will be showing a full video of what we've done in Oak Park with the kids there, and some of their comments and things will be shown.
So you're feeling you're making a little bit of headway?
I hope so.
Yeah.
One school at a time.
Yeah. So how many schools are participating in this? Do you line them up, or do you have?
we do one and then we schedule the next one and then we do the next one and then we go to the next one. And I don't know where that'll lead us, but one school at a time is how we're approaching it at this point.
What schools, what area are you targeting?
The next one is Cristo Rey schools.
Okay.
And we're scheduled to do them in October.
Okay, what area is that in?
West Sacramento.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I commend you for what you're doing, because this is just, I found out through somebody else years ago, maybe a couple years ago, this woman was talking about doing a film on human trafficking. I thought, human trafficking here?
Exactly.
Not in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very huge
I couldn't believe it.
Wow. How come we don't hear more about this kind of thing?
I don't know. I wish, we're trying to get the word out as much as we can, but it's a huge problem. And but I believe in ripple effects. Mm-hmm. So we make one ripple in the other direction, and it creates another ripple.
Yeah. Well, let's make some waves.
All right.
Okay. Everybody who's out there listening to this program, investigate, look into this, do some research, find out what's going on in your neighborhood and with our children, because this should not be. This should not be. And I'm sure there's other groups like yours that are out there trying to do good things for these kids, and certainly keep up the good work that you're doing, because it's amazing. What devotion.
Thank you for
your
support.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is the story behind the story of how you got involved in this? Is there anything, is it the mother thing in you, or is it just being a good person?
Yeah, I mean, I love kids. A lot of my work and my legal work has been representing children in court and things like that. So I have a heart for children, mm-hmm. and my kids all work in the Strive to Free. They all volunteer. They all do different parts, and so their heart's in it just as much as mine. So it's a kind of a family thing.
Oh, that's neat. Now, is there some sort of hotline, or is there some sort of connection that anybody who's watching the show can get in touch with somebody if they know of a situation where someone is in the human trafficking stream? How do they?
There actually is a national hotline for human trafficking that you can call, and they actually will answer, and it will be a live person, and that it will be investigated. So you can just Google the national hotline. I don't have the number with me today.
Well, we'll get that and we'll put it up.
Yeah.
We'll put it up there so people have something to to contribute. If you're aware of something and you can do something to help, pitch in. Jump in. It takes a village, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, with the 5 minutes that we have left, do you want to give your information on again for the website and people that can contact you, and about the event?
Yes.
So ticket price or
yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So it's Denim and Sequins. It's our annual gala. It's at Roxy's Restaurant on Fair Oaks Boulevard in Sacramento. September 21st, it's Sunday from 6 to 9 p.m. Dinner, drinks, live music, and lots of fun. It's $60 for a ticket per person for a single ticket, and $50 a ticket if it's 2 or more tickets that you purchase. And you can purchase them online at www.strivetofree.org or our Facebook page under Strive to Free.
Super. And that's Strive number 2, free. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Story Connection and how you can connect with us. Thank you.
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. You can watch these programs online at the same airtimes by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17, or you can watch us on Comcast Channel 17 in the Sacramento region and on AT&T Channel 99. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, join us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
Well, Mary, you certainly have taken on a daunting task, and again, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing this information with us, so we can be more aware and more proactive in trying to put a stop to this horrible situation.
Thank you for having me.
So, with the few minutes that we have left, you know, is there advice that you can give people? Anything that you want to say that?
Just know that this is a big problem. Often people say, oh, this is too big of a problem. I don't know what I could possibly do. You can do something. Just telling one more person about the problem is doing something, but do something.
Is there any type of legislation? Is there anything that would help if people got more involved? Is there any laws that would change? That could be changed, that would...
I think there's laws all the time that are happening in the area of human trafficking in different areas. I don't see any laws right now that are addressing the supply and demand problem. I really think if we could get a curriculum into the schools, that would be huge with regards to prevention, and that would address the supply part of the problem. I think another piece of legislation that really could affect the issue of demand is something related to Johns, and something either repercussions or John School or something that would start to address that problem. I know that's a really hot political issue and not a very popular issue, but it is something that is going to need to be addressed at some point.
Yeah. Wow. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show, sharing, and that's strivetofree.com. So take a look at the website and, you know, become involved in some way, as Mary said. You know, there's always something that we can do to help. And good luck with your event. Again, that's Denim and Sequins on September 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. at Roxy's. And expecting a really big crowd out there, so get your tickets early. Okay? With that, we're going to say goodnight, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good night, everybody.